Most men don't realize the illusion of choice in their relationships, their careers, and their social standing is actually a meticulously crafted illusion keeping them blind. Every man has a primal instinct he can't admit. This isn't something to fix, it's the unseen conductor orchestrating his relationships, status, and pursuit of influence. Welcome. Tonight, we're stepping beyond what you've been told about free will, unspoken rules, and the true nature of men. If you've ever felt a profound unease, a flicker in your gut when someone spoke, stay. This is for you. Like this video, subscribe if you're ready to unveil the illusions that control you. Take a slow breath, let's go deeper. You think you're a good judge of character, you believe in a handshake, a man's word, the clear look in someone's eyes. You have a friend, let's call him Leo. Everyone likes Leo. He's the guy who always has a plan, a story, a reason. He's the one who stands a little taller, smiles a little wider when he talks about his latest deal, his new promotion, his seemingly perfect life. You believe him. Why wouldn't you? The words are there, the confidence is there. The story feels complete, but the truth is, the story you're hearing is not the one you're seeing. The human mind is a master of deception. It lies to others, and it lies to itself. But the body, it's a different story. The body remembers. It holds the scars, the tension, the quiet little betrayals of the truth. When a lie is spoken, a silent war is waged between the mind and the body always loses, but not before it leaves a trace, a ghost, a tell. A micro-expression that flashes across the face in less than a tenth of a second, so fast you don't consciously see it, but your subconscious registers a flicker in the mirror. An unsettling feeling in your gut that something isn't quite right. Think about Leo again. Recall a time he told you a great story. When he was mid-sentence, did his eyes hold for just a fraction of a second too long? Or did they dart away for a split second, only to be snapped back to meet yours? Did he gesture confidently with one hand, while the other was tucked away, fingers unconsciously twitching? These are not mistakes, these are echoes of the war. His voice tells the story, but his body whispers the truth. A slight change in his vocal pitch, a quiet hesitation, a moment where his breathing becomes a little too shallow. You've heard it 1,000 times, and you've always dismissed it as a simple pause for thought. Most men do. What they don't realize is that this pause, it is a signal, a flash of the mind trying to get the body to align with the lie. The world is full of these moments. They happen in hushed conference rooms under flickering fluorescent lights, in dimly lit bars where whispers are mistaken for secrets, and in the quiet, intimate spaces of your own home. They happen when a business partner promises a deal is secure, when a woman says she's fine, when a man tells you he's got everything under control. You feel a tension in the air, a feeling that something is off. That's not paranoia. It's the truth trying to break through. It's the subtle, silent signals from a mind and body at war, a dissonance you can feel, even if you can't consciously articulate it. The lie itself is never the whole story. The real danger lies in the process of lying, the tension that builds, the physical tics, the verbal acrobatics required to hold a false reality together. This is a game of control, and most people are terrified of losing. They build an elaborate mental house of cards, and with every lie, a card is added, making the whole structure more fragile, more susceptible to a simple touch. Your job isn't to look for the big lie. Your job is to learn to see the cracks in the foundation, to see the tiny, imperceptible movements, the subtle shifts, the hesitations that reveal the truth before it's ever spoken. When you start to see these things, the world will feel different. You'll become aware of the constant, quiet negotiations happening beneath the surface of every conversation. You'll feel the weight of what's unsaid, the pressure of a person trying to maintain a facade. This isn't about becoming cynical. It's about becoming aware. It's a slow, unsettling awakening to the fact that the things you took for granted, the authenticity of a story, the sincerity of a promise, were merely the surface of a much deeper, much more complex game. You'll start to see the hidden strings, and you'll realize that the men who seem the most in control are often the ones fighting the hardest to keep the lie from breaking. But that's only the surface. The real danger hides deeper. You've learned to see the flicker, that subtle, internal war between the mind and the body. But that's only the first step. That initial tension is just a single word in a forbidden language you were never meant to speak. A language spoken by shadows and whispers, where every single person around you is broadcasting a signal, a truth they are fighting to conceal. Most men believe the world is built on words. They analyze sentences, weigh promises, and listen for facts. They are blind. They never told you that the real conversation is happening in the silence between the words. It's the micro-expressions that flash and vanish in a single blink. It's the imperceptible tightening around the eyes when a man smiles about his success, the momentary flash of contempt on his face when he says he's happy for you. It's the subtle shift in a person's posture when they are asked a question they don't want to answer. A sudden, unconscious touch to the neck, a slight tilt of the head, a gesture of submission they don't even know they're making. Think of it like this: your mind is listening to the radio, but your eyes and your subconscious are listening to a secret frequency, a constant hum of the unsaid. You start to see how a person's mouth says yes, while their eyes subtly say no. Their voice tells you they are strong, but the way they pull their shoulders back, just a little too stiffly, tells you they are trying desperately to hide a lack of power. This is the language of shadows. It's not about lies versus truth. It's about the constant, unspoken struggle for control. Once you've learned to listen to this frequency, you can't turn it off. It becomes a part of you. The world around you will start to look different. Conversations become a quiet battleground of hidden signals and unspoken motives. You'll watch people, and you'll know. You'll know what they truly desire, what they truly fear, and what they are truly hiding, not because they told you, but because their bodies, their shadows, gave them away. This is not a gift, it is a burden. It is the ability to see the world as it truly is, without the comfortable veil of polite conversation. But the deepest secret this language holds is how it reveals not their lies, but the fragility of their entire reality. The deepest secret this language holds is how it reveals not their lies, but the fragility of their entire reality. Every person you meet has constructed a story about themselves, a fortress of confidence and truth they present to the world. A successful life, an unshakable resolve, a pure heart. You've been trained to believe in this reflection, to accept it as the truth without question. But that reflection is a mirror, and it's built from the thinnest glass. The shadows you've learned to read, those subtle tells, those micro-expressions, they are not isolated mistakes, they are cracks. When you see a man, confident and poised, telling you his plan is perfect, but his pupils dilate for a split second, that's not just a lie, that is a tremor in the foundation of his entire persona. It's the moment his inner panic leaks out, a silent scream of doubt that his mouth is trying desperately to ignore. What you're seeing isn't a single lie, you're seeing the first fatal crack in the mirror, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The perfect reflection of who they want you to believe they are begins to distort. The confident lines on their face soften into a quiet desperation. The unblinking gaze that was meant to project strength now seems like a desperate attempt to hold it all together. The real person emerges, not a monster, but something far more unsettling, a person terrified of being seen for who they really are. A person who is not in control at all. This is the moment of no return. The knowledge you now hold isn't a weapon, it's a profound, chilling clarity. It is the realization that the people around you, the institutions you trust, the entire social fabric you've always taken for granted, are all held together by these fragile, unspoken stories. And a single tell, a single quiet truth, is all it takes to make the entire thing shatter. The world is not made of facts, it is made of mirrors, and you now have the sight to see the cracks, but when the mirror shatters completely, you won't just see their reflection, you'll see the truth you've been avoiding about yourself. When the mirror shatters completely, you won't just see their reflection, you'll see the truth you've been avoiding about yourself. Take a moment. Look at the fragments of that broken mirror. Now, look closer. You'll see a face you didn't want to recognize, the face of a man who wanted to believe. The desire you fight hardest, the desire to believe the best in others, is the very thing that has been used against you, leaving you blind to the truth. This isn't about being stupid. This isn't about being gullible. This is about a much deeper, more fundamental truth of human nature. You wanted a beautiful story. You needed to believe in a world where people were fundamentally good, where a firm handshake meant a promise, where a smile meant sincerity. That need, that desire for a comfortable reality, was your greatest vulnerability. It was the chink in your armor. The quiet, unsettling feeling you had when a friend told you a convenient lie was a whisper from your subconscious, a warning you chose to ignore because the truth would have been too hard, too ugly, too inconvenient. You were fooled because you allowed yourself to be fooled. That's the bitter pill to swallow. They didn't just lie to you, they leveraged your desire to see the best in them. They spoke the words you wanted to hear, and you, in your quiet, almost shameful innocence, silenced the little voice that saw the cracks in the mirror. You ignored the subtle tells, the shadows on their faces, not because you couldn't see them, but because you were afraid of what seeing them would mean. It would mean the world is a colder place. It would mean you have to be vigilant. It would mean you have to admit that you were, for a moment, a mark. This is the shame of blindness. The profound, unsettling shame of realizing that your own good intentions were the very thing that made you vulnerable. This feeling is not a weakness, it is the beginning of an awakening. It is the moment you stop being an innocent bystander in the game of life and start understanding the rules. It's the moment you realize the greatest lies aren't told to you, they're the ones you tell yourself to stay comfortable. And the most dangerous part of this shame is how it's used to make your deepest desires the very chains that bind you. And the most dangerous part of this shame is how it's used to make your deepest desires the very chains that bind you. You felt the quiet burn of your own innocence, the sting of being fooled. That feeling, that profound unease, is not a mistake. It is a powerful lever. The most cunning manipulators don't lie to you, they speak to your deepest wants, they play the long game. Every man thinks he's in control of his decisions until he learns how his own deepest desires are the strings others pull to make him dance. The puppet master doesn't yank your arms, he doesn't force you to say the words. He identifies the thing you crave most: power, respect, validation, or the simple desire to never be fooled again. Then he simply places a prize at the end of a very specific path. And you, believing you are a free man, a sovereign mind, march down that path, not because he is forcing you, but because you are forcing yourself. You are the one who so desperately wants the prize that you are blind to the fact that you are following a trail of breadcrumbs laid by another. Think about a time someone offered you a solution to the very problem you were just made aware of. A new mentor, a sudden ally, a person who says, "I see things in you that others don't." They are not a savior, they are a mirror reflecting your own desires back at you. They're whispers of empowerment, they're gestures of trust. They are not for you. They are the strings tied to your want. The desire to feel strong again, to no longer be a naive fool, becomes the very force that drives you into their control. The illusion is complete because you built it yourself, you made the choices. You walked the path, you believed you were finally free, when in reality, you had just traded one master for another. This is the forbidden truth of power. It's not about what you can make a person do, it's about what you can make them want to do. It's the ability to plant a seed of desire in their mind and watch them water it, nurture it, and fight for it as if it were their own. You think you're chasing success, they know you're just chasing a feeling. And that feeling is a tether they can pull at any time. When you finally see the puppeteer, you won't be angry, you'll be horrified by what you realize about the game itself. When you finally see the puppeteer, you won't be angry, you'll be horrified by what you realize about the game itself. You saw a string, and you assumed there was a hand pulling it, but the dark realization is that there is no single puppeteer. There are thousands of them, and you are one, whether you know it or not. Most men don't realize that the world isn't about honesty or dishonesty, but about a constant, subtle negotiation of power, where every interaction is a quiet war. It is not a conscious, planned battle, it is a primal dance. It is the negotiation that takes place when a friend offers a favor, a colleague pays you a compliment, or a romantic partner gives you a quiet look. On the surface, these are moments of connection, but beneath that surface, a transaction is taking place. An unspoken deal. The friend's favor creates a debt you now owe. The colleague's compliment reinforces their subtle dominance. The partner's look is a silent negotiation for control, an unspoken demand for your attention. The comfort you once felt in these moments was an illusion, the safety of a conversation, a friendship, a community. It was all built on a fragile truce. Now you see the weapons, you see the unspoken threats and the subtle concessions, you see the constant, quiet struggle to gain an inch, to hold a position, to win a small, invisible battle no one ever admits is happening. This is the dark truth. The world is not filled with good people and bad people. It is filled with people who are constantly trying to gain an advantage. They are not evil, they are simply human, and they are playing a game they don't even realize they are playing. And now you see it too. You see the chessboard in the coffee shop, the silent strategies in a group chat, the hidden motives behind every casual suggestion. This isn't a moment of empowerment. This is a moment of profound dread. The curtain has been pulled back, and what you thought was a beautiful play is revealed to be a cold, calculated conflict, and you are standing on the stage, whether you like it or not. And once you see the game for what it is, you'll realize the only thing more dangerous than being a pawn is choosing to play a different game. Once you see the game for what it is, you'll realize the only thing more dangerous than being a pawn is choosing to play a different game. You are standing on a chessboard where every single person is moving with a hidden agenda. You now have the sight to see their moves, to anticipate their attacks, to understand their motives. This isn't a moment of victory, it's the moment of uneasy acceptance. The world is not a place for innocent truth seekers. It is a world of quiet power struggles, unspoken hierarchies, and constant, subtle manipulation. You can no longer pretend it doesn't exist. You can no longer go back to the way you were. The mirror is shattered forever. This is a heavy crown, a burden of truth you can no longer escape. The knowledge you now possess is not a tool you can pick up and put down. It becomes a part of you. You will watch a friend tell a joke and see the subtle bid for social dominance hidden in his delivery. You will hear a colleague offer to help and see the quiet demand for a favor in return. You will look at the person you love and feel the pressure of their unspoken expectations. The world becomes a constant flood of data, of signals, of truths that were once hidden, and now they are all you can see. And in this flood of information, you will find yourself alone, because no one else can see what you see. You will become a silent observer, a ghost in the machine, navigating a world of illusions while carrying the heavy weight of the real. You will feel a profound separation from the men who are still playing in the dark, still believing in the pretty lies. This is the price of quiet clarity. It's a crown of thorns, but it is a crown. The weight of this crown is not meant to break you. It is meant to make you stronger. The journey is not about becoming a better liar, a more effective manipulator. It's about becoming a master of a different game, the game of truth. It's about learning to use this knowledge not to exploit, but to build, to protect, and to finally understand who you are. But before you can even begin to play that new game, you must first come to terms with the shadow that has always been waiting within you. But before you can even begin to play that new game, you must first come to terms with the shadow that has always been waiting within you. The forbidden wisdom isn't about judging others, it's about negotiating with the part of you that's always been willing to see the darkness. For years, you were told to suppress this part of yourself, to be a good man. To be trusting, open, and naive. You were taught to see your own capacity for cynicism, your ability to see the cracks, as a flaw. And so you pushed it into the shadows, a locked door you never opened, but that part of you never left, it just waited. It has been there, a silent observer in every conversation, every betrayal, every lie. It saw the tells when you chose to ignore them. It heard the unspoken motivations when you chose to believe the words. It is the part of you that is strong, discerning, and utterly unafraid of the truth, no matter how ugly. And now, you must open that door. This is the moment you must look your shadow in the eye. This is not your enemy. This is not your weakness. This is the wolf inside you, the one that can smell fear and see lies. The negotiation is not about becoming a monster. It is about becoming the master of that wolf. You shake its hand, you acknowledge its power, you make a solemn promise that you will not let it control you, but that you will listen when it speaks. This is the quiet, internal work of a man who has chosen to see the truth. You are not becoming a worse person, you are becoming a more complete one. You are integrating the part of yourself that was always capable of navigating the darker corners of the human experience. You are giving your mind the power it always had, but were too afraid to use. And in this negotiation, you are taking back control of a part of your own psyche that you had long ago given away. And when you finally make peace with the shadow, you'll realize the true freedom you were always searching for wasn't on the outside, it was locked inside you all along. And when you finally make peace with the shadow, you'll realize the true freedom you were always searching for wasn't on the outside. It was locked inside you all along. For so long, you believed freedom was the ability to do what you want. To chase ambition, to seek validation, to be liked. You believed it was about building a life in the light, surrounded by people who told you what you wanted to hear, but that was not freedom. That was a cage built of your own desires, a silent prison you willingly walked into. What feels like a cage of truth is actually a liberation, the moment you stop being a pawn and start seeing the game for what it is. The liberation doesn't come from winning, it comes from no longer needing to play. You no longer have to perform for others. You no longer have to pretend to believe the stories they tell, or even the stories you tell yourself. You have a quiet, unshakable foundation built on the bedrock of reality. You know the truth, and that truth has set you free. The weight you've been carrying, the shame of your own blindness, the fear of being manipulated, it's all gone. Not because the lies have disappeared, but because they no longer have power over you. They are just words. You can hear them, you can see them, but they cannot move you. You are the stillness in the storm. The silent master of a house you no longer have to defend, because you know all its hidden corners. This isn't a loud, triumphant moment. There are no trumpets, there is no applause. It is a quiet, profound acceptance of a new kind of power. The power of not being moved, the power of not being fooled, the power of knowing that you have navigated the darkest parts of the human psyche and come out with your mind intact. You are no longer chasing shadows. You are no longer running from the truth, you are standing in it, and in that simple act, you are more powerful than any lie. But the true test of this liberation is not what you can now see, but what you choose to do with the dark wisdom you possess. But the true test of this liberation is not what you can now see, but what you choose to do with the dark wisdom you possess. You are no longer a blind man. You are no longer a puppet. You are not a pawn in a game you didn't understand. You are an architect. You are a quiet master of your own domain, and this is the final, most important lesson. They never told you that true power doesn't come from being liked, but from possessing a quiet, unshakable wisdom that sees through every lie. The old you chased the approval of others. He chased status, validation, and the illusion of a perfect life. The new you understands that those things were never real. They were just whispers, and a clever man can use them to make you dance. True power is internal. It is the fortress you build around your integrity. It is the profound, quiet self-possession that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for, regardless of what anyone else says or does. This is the dark wisdom. It is not about becoming a better liar. It is about becoming a human lie detector, not for others, but for yourself. It is the ability to look at your own motivations, your own desires, and your own choices and see the quiet truths behind them. You will use this wisdom to build a small, protected circle of trust. You will see who is authentic and who is not. You will build relationships not on shared illusions, but on the firm bedrock of reality. This wisdom will make your life quieter, your relationships deeper, and your power more profound because it is real, and it is yours. The world is still a battlefield of hidden truths and subtle lies. But you are no longer a soldier on the front lines, fighting for a flag you don't believe in. You are the sovereign, sitting on a throne of self-knowledge, observing the game with a deep and knowing silence. You are no longer a pawn. You are no longer a victim. You are the one who understands, and in that understanding, you possess a power that no one, not a single person, can ever take away. And so, we arrive at the end. The journey is complete, but the work has only just begun. The man who started this journey is not the man who is ending it. You have navigated the hidden corners of human psychology. You have stared into the darkness of deception and emerged with a new sight. The comfort of ignorance is gone, replaced by the heavy crown of truth. But with that crown comes a power, a quiet, unshakable foundation that will serve you in every interaction, every relationship, and every moment of your life. This is not the end. It is the beginning of a new way of seeing, a new way of being, and a new way of living in a world that is not what it seems. Tonight, when you face your reflection, you'll see the part of you they told you to kill, but it never left. The journey is complete. You have stared into the heart of deception and returned with a new sight. The comfort of blissful ignorance is gone, replaced by the heavy crown of truth. But with this crown comes a power, an unshakable foundation built on the bedrock of reality. This is not the end. It is the beginning of a new way of seeing, a new way of being, and a new way of living in a world that is not what it seems. The real work begins now. Take one truth from this video, a micro-expression, an unconscious touch, a subtle shift in posture, and test it this week. Watch the people around you, observe the quiet conversations happening between their bodies and their words. And when you see that first real truth, the first crack in someone's carefully constructed mirror, you will feel the undeniable shift. You will know. Tonight, when you face your reflection, you'll see the part of you they told you to kill, but it never left. If you are ready to wield this wisdom, if you are ready to stop being a pawn, then like this video and comment below with "I am ready." I will see you on the other side.